Hello there! Now I'm sure many people have told you this before and it shouldn't need to be said again, but it's still happening. Why do people still want to pierce themselves? It's ridiculous, it's not a safe idea, and it's not a clever idea. It will not pay off in the future unless of course you know exactly what you're doing, and very few people do. I'm just going to go through a few of the cliche ones that you should know about, which you probably already know about, but common sense is telling you no, these things won't happen to you. They probably will. One of the main things is hygiene. Sterilization is incredibly important for the jewelry, the needles going into your skin, and for your hands and anything else you touch around you. The tools, the clamps, everything. Autoclaves aren't cheap, and there is a good reason for that. They are used by professionals to make things super duper clean. A professional piercer will know the size of the jewelry that needs to go into wherever you're getting pierced. A lot of the time a smaller gauge is needed because maybe there's not much skin. The healing time is going to be significantly less, and it's going to hurt a lot less as well. All the needles that I've gotten pierced with allow for a 1.6mm gauge bar or ring, but that's only because that's the size that I like, that's the size that I'm used to. But also to take into consideration is the swelling. A lot of people that do it themselves will not choose the appropriate size length of bar or ring. Unfortunately, sometimes the skin can grow over the ball. Trying to cut out a piece of jewelry is incredibly painful. Can't remember if I've done it myself, but I know for a fact that taking a scalpel to your skin and digging out a ball is going to hurt a lot. Of course, the professionals, they know what they're doing. They can give you great advice on aftercare, because not all aftercare is the same. If you've got lots of piercings done in the past and you think you know what you're doing, it's not always the same cleaning regimen that you need to follow for each different piercing. Your piercer should give you a piece of paper, or at least let you know details on the cleaning regimen you need to take. What solution is good, for example like salt water or something to sterilize the area and keep it clean so that no bacteria gets into it. And of course they know the size of the bar that is needed for the swelling, and after the swelling has gone down they can change it to a bar that's just the right size. Also, if something were to go wrong in a studio, they know what to do. They've had practice at doing this. Maybe they've not had practice at doing it, but they've read up about exactly what to do if something were to go wrong, and they can act quickly and keep you calm. If you were to do it to yourself, or your friend were to do it to you, and you start to panic or they start to panic, things are going to go downhill very quickly. You could end up in A&E, God forbid, or going to a professional piercer to get it fixed. In both cases, people will look down on you for being such an idiot. Be prepared for that. A professional piercer will also know exactly how to check for blood vessels so that they don't get punctured during the piercing process. For example, you have a lot of blood vessels in your tongue. If you were to hit one of those, you would bleed a lot, and it can be very difficult to stop that kind of thing. These are easy to avoid if you know what you're looking for, and a professional piercer will of course check for these type of things. I'm sure most of you have piercings and have been to a piercer, and they mark on exactly where, I'm just going to use my lip as an example, mark exactly where the piercing is going to go through you. And of course you can do this at home. You can see exactly where it's going to go, and you can buy one of those stupid piercing toolkits and do it yourself. But the problem is, when it comes to doing it yourself or getting a friend to do it, they need to have a very steady hand and they need to be able to do it straight. If they put it in at an angle, then the healing process is going to be totally out of whack. If it even does go right the way through, if they do it quick enough. Professional piercer will know exactly when you're going to flinch as well, which your friend or you may not, so they can adjust for that kind of thing. But if you do it yourself, it's going to be a lot slower process and it's going to hurt a lot more. If you haven't been clever enough to listen to any of this advice, which you've probably heard a million times before, and you decide to do it yourself or get a friend to do it for you, just please make sure that everything is hygienic and sterilized, and you're doing it in a safe place next to a phone that you can call an ambulance on as soon as possible. And don't think just because the piercing has gone well that it can't backfire on you. It's very easy for dirt or something to get into the wound. It is an open wound, and if anything were to get in there, it could be dangerous, potentially deadly. So don't be an idiot, okay? Don't be an idiot. I'm sure you're going to take all of this advice and probably go and do it yourself anyway, but for those of you who don't, and go to a professional piercer, good on you, well done. These professional piercers spend a lot of time and money getting the knowledge and knowing exactly what to do to keep you safe. And if you're not going to them, then they're going to lose their jobs. And I hope that makes you feel bad. No, but seriously, they need their jobs just as much as you do. And they're looking out for you. They're doing all this for you. They could just go to your house and do it for much cheaper, because a lot of the time, if you've got a residency in a tattoo or a piercing shop, you're paying the owner each time you do a piercing. Sometimes, not all the time. Until next time, guys. Look like a middle finger there. I'll give you the finger. What is wrong with you? Ah, there we go. Every time I have this one here, he bites me. Yeah, every time he's on camera, he licks me. I think he knows. I think he knows, and he's trying to be as polite as he can on camera. But you're an evil git when you're not on camera. So weird. See you later, guys.